So I'm doing another do-it-yourself home improvement project. Over time, I've been modifying my bathroom, making it into something that pleases me. With many do-it-yourself home projects, you run into challenges. You have to learn new skills. I'm going to show you how I conquered two problems on one simple task. There's no challenge that I have met that I cannot conquer. I'm working on remodeling my bathroom, and I had just put in this new vanity top, and my outlet was in this space right here, and my cover was kind of fitting down underneath that space, and I needed to move my outlet because I didn't want this to be behind the countertop. So I had to relocate my outlet. What I did, I took out, I pulled the whole outlet out through the hole, and I looked at it carefully at the back, and I measured to get the exact size that I would need for the hole, and I actually cut a template out with paper. Traced my hole and put my hand through the hole to move the outlet over here and got it secure. So, and I've got it centered between the mirror and the vanity, so that looks good. But then my problem was I had this big gaping hole, and there's no stubs. There's a stub here, and there's a stub over here somewhere, but there's just nothing between. There's a big space. So what I did was I got two short boards, and I put them crosswise behind, and I just kind of held them. I used my little drill, and I put screws on either side, try to sink them just a little bit. And so I put one at the top and one at the bottom, and now I have something to hold my sheetrock to. Then I measured my hole and cut out a sheetrock. The next problem I ran into is the only piece of sheetrock that I had is a 1/2 inch thick, and I need it to be this thick. So you can see there's a great difference. So what I did was I peeled off the paper, and I just used my knife, the same knife that I used to cut the piece, and I just kind of shaved it to try to get it the width that I need for my hole. So now I am ready. I'm ready to put my piece in, and that's going to be great because now I've got something to press against it. And so now I can use my tape to hold that, and I'll be able to plaster this and don't have to worry about, this has got a sticky side to it. I won't have to worry about putting pressure on that because I got boards that it's going to hold it. I'm going to use my Spackling, which it is pink Spackling, so that when you put it on, it has this bright pink color. And I'm going to put it on as even as I can. It's going to be a little rough for the first coat. When it dries, it's going to turn white, and then I sand it. And then I go put another layer on until I can get the whole wall to look smooth. And that is how you patch a hole, especially when you want to move an outlet. And there's no support behind. So I hope you found that helpful. Okay, so I let the Spackling dry, and I sanded it. It dried overnight, so now it's day 2, And I'm going to add another layer because my goal is to get it to look very smooth. You may have to do this 2 or 3 times before you get the desired smoothness that you want. But I love this stuff, how it changes color, because then I know when it's dry. So we are going to let that dry. And you can see that's still sticking out a little bit right there. So I'll probably take another layer. And I use a wet washcloth to clean up any where I don't want it. So we'll let that dry, then we'll sand it, and we may have to do one more layer before it is completely smooth. And for now, I will leave this cover off because it'll just put a mark in the putty. Before you paint the color that you want the wall, always prime any area that you have patched with putty, because the putty is very dry and it will absorb the paint. And if you just put your color on without priming, you're going to be able to notice that spot, and it's going to look kind of dry, and it won't have the same glossy or semi-gloss finish that your actual paint color does. So always prime. And priming paint is usually cheaper than regular custom color paint, and if it's going to soak it up, you want it to be the primer. So prime it, let it dry before you put your final coat of color on. When the primer is dry, then we can put on our final coat of paint. And when we are finished, you won't even be able to know there was a hole in the wall. Now, this is a small area, I'm using a brush. If it was a large area, I'd be using a roller. Just want to make sure it goes on smooth. And there we have it. Okay, we're all dry. So now put the cover back on. You can't even tell there was a hole there. And that is how you patch a hole. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You never know what the next video is going to be about. My channel is so varied. I have art, things about my chickens, or about raising chickens, gardening, do-it-yourself home projects, crafts, needleworks. I can't even remember all of the stuff that's on my channel, but it's sort of what you could call a variety show. But I try to share things that I think will be helpful to make your life a little easier, to help you conquer those challenges. So please subscribe, and thanks for watching.